Welcome everyone. If you missed our training on Thursday on Jamboard, I'm just going to record a quick little video of how to do everything. We had a little audio issues throughout the training, so I just want to make sure it's not too choppy. So I'm just going to re-record for everyone. If you are new to Jamboard, it is a product in Google. It's just a virtual whiteboard. So imagine in a classroom with a big whiteboard that, a couple students maybe are writing on, and so is the teacher. Maybe you have something projecting onto it if it's a smart board as well. Google allows you to do that same idea, but virtually, so people can edit it at the same time from different locations and see it instantaneously. So if you're new, it's just jamboard.com, jamboard.google.com to get to the website. It comes with any of your Google accounts, so whether it's your NU account or your personal one, it's part of G Suite, so we have access to it. And your main page here is going to look just like this. It'll have all of your existing jams. And to create a new one, you're just going to go down to the bottom right here where the little plus sign is. So we'll click that and open up a new jam for us. So just like the rest of the Google products, when you want to rename it, you'll just click on the existing title and the menu will pop up, and I'll call mine Sample Jam and change it to whatever you want and click OK. And I'm going to run through the top menu for us. You've got your basics, your undo and your redo. You can zoom in or out, and you can also change the background of your jam. So right now it's going to be the classic white background. If you click on that there, it gives you a few options. That's the beauty of Jam. It's really short and sweet. So things are a little limited. You've got the dots version here. You got your lined background. You can do a grid if you're a math person, maybe for graphing. And then your two colors are the black and the blue for the solid colors. And finally, to add your own picture. That's that last one there. And so you can upload a file right from your computer. If you go to browse and then just locate your pictures, you can pull whatever you want to have as your background. You can also do it by the URL if you have an exact URL to an image that you know of. If you don't know a URL but you have an idea, you can do a Google image. So maybe like plant cell. If we wanted our background to be a picture of a cell here, you could throw that up, and then students could, manipulate it and write on it and label more stuff. The other options are to use your camera if your computer is connected to your camera. I don't have mine connected right now. If you have something saved on your drive, you can pull a picture from there. Same with Google Photos. So those are your options for adding a background. If you had an actual physical Jamboard, which is a type of smart board, you could project this then onto it from your computer if it was connected. Looking above that, you've got your bar here, which has your different frames. So in Google Jam, they're called frames as opposed to like sheets or documents. We're talking about frames. And you can always add some to the left or to the right. You can click them and drag them around if you want to change the order. You could also delete or duplicate them if you want to keep one way, but then maybe change a few things. You could duplicate it however you want. I believe you can hold up to 50, is what I've been told. I've never hit it myself, so but I believe the max is 50. And we'll just collapse that there and it'll go back. The top right here, you got the options to rename it. You could download it as a PDF or as an image, or you could delete it entirely. Making a copy is a nice feature. It'll copy the entire jam. So if you've got, a bunch of different frames and you want to make a whole new set, maybe for a different class to keep it separate, you can make a whole copy of the file. And then your share button, but we're going to talk about this in a minute. You got to do something a little wonky when you're trying to share with students. So getting back to our setting here, I'm going to go to the left and start going down these options. The first one up is the pen, and you've got a few different thicknesses here with the pen option. There's the pen, there's the marker, the highlighter, and then the paintbrush. And then you also have your different colors. I said before, jam is short and sweet, so they don't give you a whole lot of options for these things. So they just have these 6 basic colors for you. And just like if you were working in Microsoft Paint or something like that, you could just click and start writing. I think I took the paintbrush one, so it's a little lighter. If we look at the pen or the marker, that's where you'll see your darker colors. They'll be thinner. So got that there. The next thing down is your eraser. So we could take our eraser here and erase everything out if we wanted to, or erase a section. You can also go back up to your controls here and undo things. So if I want to get rid of that second high there, I could just undo it until it goes away. And maybe I want it again, so I can redo it until it all comes back how I liked it before. Right, continuing on. Below the eraser is your select feature. I'm going to talk about that in a second once we get a few more things on here to manipulate. That's just what you're going to use to click and move stuff around. The fourth one down is your post-it note or your sticky note. These are kind of fun. It's a great way for students to add things to the jam without really changing the contents. Maybe you have, a drawing or a background of something like our cell, and you want them to add like their thoughts or contribute a comment. Using the sticky notes would be a great way to do that. And they could just type and save it. So you'll notice that as soon as I save it, it does add it to my jam here to the top left, but it doesn't close out my sticky notes. I could add more. So I could change my color and add a second one. And then we can save it there. There is a limit to how many characters you can do with sticky notes. I believe it's 150. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. If you want anything more than that, you're going to want to use our text box, which is further on down our list there. And whenever you're ready, you just hit cancel and it'll save the ones you have there. So that's our sticky note. Now we can jump back up to our select button here. That's just what you're going to use to manipulate stuff. So we can move our high over to the right, maybe. Maybe you want to turn it. That's the top left corner. You can change the size. It'll bring the font with the size of it too. You could also edit your text. Maybe we want to add something to it. And then we'll save it. Or you could also duplicate it if you want a few of those. There's the option to delete it, and then we'll talk about ordering once we get a few more things on here, but it's kind of similar to like Word or Google Sheets, or Google Docs, where you can send things backwards or bring them forwards as far as layering. So like what's on top versus what's in the background, etc. So moving on down to the left, there is our option for adding an image. So you can click on that, and same idea. You can pull them from your computer. You could pull them from Google's image search, take a picture, pull it off your Google Drive. Same options we talked about before. So I'll just throw a picture up there so we have something. Let's go back with that plant cell that we had before, and we'll put that on there and insert it. And same thing, we can click on the sides here and make it bigger or smaller. We could duplicate it, delete it, and again, change the order. And I'll show you what those mean once we get a few things on here. Shapes are next. So a few basics. Oops. You've got your squares, you've got your triangles, just a few basic shapes. And so you can change the sizes, you can duplicate them, shrink them down, change the order. Again, all the same idea. The next one down is our text box. So this will hold a lot more characters. I don't know off the top of my head how many, but I've seen it with paragraphs in here before, where you can it'll just continue going on and on and on, and eventually it'll start to shrink down the font to fit it in, if you need it. But we'll get rid of some of those there. And now we'll talk about that order feature. So if I put it's always going to go with whatever was added last will be on top. So right now our text box is over our cell. If we wanted to send it back, we would click on our order and then just send it backwards one, or you can send it all the way to the back and it would be the last thing. So just send it back one, and I guess I gotta do a few more, sorry, because I forgot I added the arrow there, which is gonna trump it. So let me see, did I just do the arrow? Yes, so then there we go. Now it should go behind our cell. So it keeps a list of like the order. And you'll see, so the cell was now before the word box, but it's after the arrow. So that's what those are. And our last feature is the laser. So it's kind of like the draw feature, but it disappears. So I'm just gonna show you. It goes in a circle. Maybe you want to highlight somebody's response up here or over here, and eventually the image goes away or the line goes away. So now the other things I want to show you are just a few ideas of what you can do with it. So go back to my main board here. And so if you're using it as like an intro, like maybe an icebreaker, if you're teaching teachers, you know, it's something fun that for their students to do. You could give each student, you know, their own frame here. Just duplicate this a bunch until, you know, John, you're going to go to 1, Sally, you're going to go to 2, and just, you know, give them 20 minutes or so to tell them about themselves. They can add pictures, they can draw, they can type stuff, whatever they want to add to express themselves. So that's a fun one. They also have it for like those of you who are math teachers. There's one for graphing. This is just one that I found for free. Teachers Pay Teachers, but you can find them all over the internet if you want to pay for them. But it's, oh, I didn't clear this frame yet. There we go. Let me clear it. Nope, sorry, not clear, undo. There we go. And so you can use it for graphing. So if you want to give this out to students and maybe make a individual file for each student, it shows them a little bit about, you know, graphing a standard function versus, you know, having it change. So for you math people, there's some fun options here for those. You know, put a little text box in with your directions, and then they could use the pencil feature to graph their line, whatever it may be. And if you're teaching younger kids, if your student teachers are teaching, you know, P12 kids that are younger, a fun one is they have things like this. Like this is another one that was free in Teachers Pay Teachers, and it's just about building a snowman. So like they can move around, they can choose, you know, different mouths and different eyes. You know, maybe they want to put the mustache on or change out the shoes to be something different. I keep grabbing, there we go. They can do that. So it's just a lot of fun things for student teachers, even for your own classes. You can use it for a bunch of different ways. Another one I have, these are just a few that I saved to show you a few ideas, is the, there we go. It's just a calendar. So it's just got, you know, all 12 months. So if you want to keep, you know, a student calendar or something in here, you could click and add text or draw or add pictures. Same idea. So that's just the ins and outs of Jamboard. Now I want to show you how to actually start to share this and use it with your students. So I'm going to grab just one. I'll grab the calendar, I guess. If you go to the blue share button, like we're used to with all the Google products, there's a link here for change to Niagara University link, and I would do that. You can do that. But keep in mind, this is only going to let you share with faculty and staff. If you want to share with students, you're going to have to enter their email addresses in. So to do that, it's going to be, there we go, sorry. I think I tried to share too many times in a row.
You want to enter them in, and it's tedious, right? If you've got, a class of 50 students, I don't want to have to go into Canvas, find an email address, come back in here and paste it. So there's a nice little feature in MyNU where you can capture all of them. So I'm still logged in as Rachel. She was on my computer earlier. So you go down to faculty links here on the right here. You'll see list of students' emails by course. So I'm just about halfway down the page on the right. And when you click on this, oh, well, she's still logged in, so we're going to go with it. Let's try that again. List of students' emails by course. You can search for an entire course. So since I'm on Rachel's account, I'm going to pull up one of her lists. So she's got EDU 505 right now. So if I submit it, I can see all of her students' names and email addresses by course. It's going to be tedious to go back and forth still and copy. It looks like 20 maybe or so, 15 or 20 email addresses. And I want to have to copy one, go over here and click it and paste it. Too tedious. If you go all the way to the bottom, there's a nice little pre-set list all ready to go for you to copy and paste into an email. It just autofills it down here for you. So you can copy the whole thing. So I just highlighted them all, right-clicked, and copy. And then I can come over here to my Jam and right-click and, just Control-V up, there we go, and paste it. And then I'll be able to share with anyone with a mail.niagara account. So those would be the students, the mail.niagara. Now I'm not going to hit send because I don't want to send this to Rachel's whole class. But if you're doing it with yours, then they would get the notification in an email that you had shared it with them. You can always turn that off, just like with any account, and share it with them without a notification, and it'll just go to their drive. So that's one thing that I want to show you. And the other one is I want to show you how to embed them into Canvas. So put them in as like an assignment, for example. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that you're logged in to your Google Drive. I'm going to click on that link and give it a second to load here. And I already logged in here, but you want to go through the process of verifying your email and your password and linking it. One thing I do like to point out is that students won't have access to all of these files. We're looking at the admin view here. So this is linking my whole Google Drive, but that's not what the students see. Students will only see individual files that you have shared with, that you've shared with them. So individual files that you had come in here and shared and put their email address in. Those were the only ones that will appear here in the Google Drive folder. So, that will appear for them when you link it to an assignment. That's what I was trying to say. So to do that, to link it to an assignment, we're going to go into assignments. And I'm going to create a new one. And I'll give it a name. We'll just do sample Jamboard. Oops. And you can give it, your description, whatever you wanted to do with that. Same things with the assignments. You can set your times that it's due and when it's available, all like you normally would with an assignment. The only thing that's different here is your submission type. So we're going to do here an external tool, which is what I had it on last. So that's what it's defaulting me to. And then we're going to come down here and we're going to hit find. And we are looking to do a Google Drive cloud assignment. And now we need to go back into our Jamboard here and copy that link. So we already got the NU link. Anyone with Niagara University can access it. So we're going to say done. And let me make sure I copied it because I don't think I hit copy link. There we go. All right, link copied. So I'm going back into my Canvas here and I'm going to paste my link in here. And I'm going to hit find. There we go. And it's a Google Drive client assignment. So we're going to give it a second to search and find it. And we were doing the calendar. So Oh, sorry, there it is. Went right past it. And submit. And we're gonna select. Here we go. And I would recommend to load this tool in a new tab there. So, and I'm just gonna go ahead and sign in. I'm not gonna set my dates or anything, so it'll publish live. So I'm gonna save and publish it. And now I'm gonna hop over to my student view and show you what that looks like on the student end. All right, so now we're in student view, and I'm gonna go into assignments here, and you'll see if they go to Google Drive, it's gonna be just their settings and just their Google Drive products. They're not gonna have access to your whole drive. That's just one thing I wanna make sure that you guys are aware of, that they can only access the things that you've shared with them. So I shared that one in our training earlier, so she can access that, and now she's gonna be able to access the assignments as well once I put her name in as the share. So going back over here to my Jamboard, I'm gonna put the student's name in, and I'm going to turn off the notification. You could leave it on if you want to. It would just prompt her with an email address. We're going to share anyways. All right, so now going back into the student's assignment page, I will be able to, we did a sample jam, sorry. Here we go. All right. Okay, so we got the option here to load sample Jamboard in new window. So I'm going to click that. It's going to pull it from Drive and then bring me to the submission page here in a second once it loads. Okay, so it doesn't give a preview here, like it looks almost like it didn't load, but really it's just this link here up at the top left. And when the student's ready to submit, this is where they'll click it here. So clicking on the link, oops, well, helps if I'm signed in as the student here. There we go. Okay, so now the student can when it loads, they'll be able to access the file and draw on it and do anything they need to. So the background's not loading right now with the calendar, but the student will be able to, go ahead and edit their jam and put whatever they want to on here, and then they'll be able to go back into their submission page. So they'll just click back on that tab there that they got to from their Jamboard, and then they can hit the submit button there. So it's going to kind of capture an image to a PDF of the jam, so it won't be editable in Canvas, but it still submits it. So there's confirmation that it's submitted. And so then as the teacher view, I'm going to pull back up to the teacher view here. We can go back into the sample jam, assignment. Here we go. And they'll be able to go into the speed grader there and see any students' submissions. So let's see. And there it is. So the calendar wasn't loading actually in Jam, but it is there as the background. So then they'll be able to go through and score it, and it's got all pages. So it's we had 12 frames on there, so it's gonna come out as 12 pages of a PDF, and you can score it from here and give the student feedback, etc. So that's Jamboard in a nutshell. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or to Rachel, and we will schedule a one-on-one for you, and we can go through anything that you need help with in detail. All right, thanks for watching.